The unexpected encounter, Captain Wheeler, what's truly funny about humans? Assistant Drek asked, his compound eyes reflecting the gentle glow of the tactical displays. Captain Wheeler, an insectoid creature with a gleaming blue-green exoskeleton, subtly twitched his antennae, his gaze still fixed on the distant blue-green planet on the view screen. Is it their pathetic weaponry? Their fragile exoskeletons? The fact that they think putting cheese on everything is the pinnacle of culinary achievement? Drek continued, with a self-satisfied air. Wheeler waved a chitinous appendage dismissively. No, Drek. It's that they're still convinced they're alone in the universe. Can you imagine? Thousands of species have observed them. Hundreds have abducted their rural populations for entirely reasonable scientific probing. And at least 24 invasion forces have attempted planetary conquest. Yet somehow they still debate whether alien life exists. Actually, sir, the ship's intelligence officer, Cathar, interjected. That may be incorrect. Wheeler's antennae twitched in annoyance. What do you mean incorrect? I've read the briefing materials. Well, sir, Cathar continued, mandibles nervously clicking as he brought up a holographic display. There's something odd about this planet. Did you notice that none of those previous invasion forces ever returned? Not one. 0% success rate. The bridge fell silent, save for the gentle hum of the quantum engines. That can't be right. Captain Wheeler stammered, suddenly less confident. Check your data. The Borksians are the galaxy's premier conquest specialists, and they sent 3 armadas to Earth in the last century alone. Yes, sir. And none of them were ever heard from again. The Zorgalax Empire dispatched their dreadnought fleet, also disappeared. The Krillian Horde, same outcome, sir. Wheeler's exoskeleton subtly rippled. Well, surely we have reconnaissance data that explains this. The humans have barely achieved rudimentary space travel. Their most advanced weapons are practically sticks and stones compared to our quantum disruptors. That's what makes it so puzzling, sir, Cathar said, bringing up surveillance footage. By all accounts, they shouldn't pose any threat. Yet somehow Earth has a 100% fatality rate for would-be conquerors. Assistant Drek suddenly looked less enthusiastic about their mission. Perhaps we should refer this back to High Command. They did classify this as a simple subjugation mission, but these statistics, they suggest nonsense. Nonsense. Captain Wheeler interrupted, mandibles clacking decisively. We are the Exarthus Armada. Our species has conquered 17 galaxies. I refuse to be intimidated by soft-skinned mammals who still think fossil fuels are a good idea. We will proceed as planned. Begin the invasion countdown. As the crew reluctantly prepared for planetary assault, none of them noticed the small blinking light on a secondary monitor, a transmission being beamed directly from Earth. Dave Miller took another sip of his lukewarm coffee and stared at the antiquated radar system that was supposedly monitoring Earth's outer atmosphere. Working the night shift at SETI's least funded listening station wasn't exactly the career highlight he'd imagined when getting his PhD in astrophysics. But at least the view of the stars was nice. Anything interesting tonight, Dr. Miller? Technician? Cole asked, a fresh-faced kid, barely out of college, who still possessed that annoying quality called enthusiasm. Same as every night, Cole. Whole lot of nothing with the side of Jack Squat. Dave gestured vaguely at the monitors. Though I'm picking up a weird signal from Sector 47. Probably just satellite interference again. Cole leaned over to look at the screen, his brow furrowing. That doesn't look like satellite interference to me, sir. The pattern is too structured. Dave reluctantly put down his coffee and actually focused on the readings. The anomaly had a distinct rhythmic pattern that was decidedly non-random. Huh, that's unusual. As they watched, the anomaly grew larger, seemed to move closer to Earth at an impossible speed. Sir, Cole said slowly, think something's coming. Dave was about to make a sarcastic comment when every monitor in the facility suddenly lit up with alerts. The phone rang, and when Dave answered, the voice of General Hammond boomed through the speaker. Miller, are you seeing this? If by this you mean potentially the most significant astronomical event in human history, then yes, sir, we are indeed seeing it. Cut the sarcasm, Miller. I'm patching in the Secretary of Defense. Whatever that thing is, it's big, it's fast, and it's headed straight for us. Dave looked back at the screens, a strange mix of scientific excitement and primal fear washing over him. Well, he exclaimed, looks like someone's finally coming to the party. Aboard the Exarthus warship, Inevitable Conquest, Captain Wheeler received an update. Captain, the humans have a dedicated organization for detecting extraterrestrial intelligence, and they've just gone to something they call Condition Alpha, which appears to be their protocol for alien invasion. Wheeler's mandibles trembled slightly. Captain, we're being hailed by the humans. On screen, Wheeler ordered, trying to maintain his authoritative posture. The view screen flickered to life, revealing a stern-faced human in a military uniform adorned with various insignia that meant nothing to the aliens. This is General William Hammond of Earth's United Defense Command. Unidentified vessel. You have entered restricted space. Identify yourself and state your intentions immediately. Captain Wheeler was momentarily stunned into silence. Earth wasn't supposed to have a United Defense Command. Their intelligence suggested the planet was still divided into squabbling nation-states. Regaining his composure, Wheeler stepped forward. I am Captain Wheeler of the Exarthus Armada. We have come to claim your world for the glory of the Exarthus Empire. Surrender now, and your species will be permitted to serve as drones rather than facing extinction. The human general's expression didn't change. If anything, he looked almost bored. Captain Wheeler, was it? Let me be clear. You are not the first to try this, and I suspect you won't be the last. But I should warn you, none of your predecessors have returned home. Wheeler felt his confidence wavering but pressed on. Your primitive weapons are no match for our technology. We have studied your world. At this, the general actually smiled. It was not a pleasant smile. Have you? Now then, I wonder why you're still here. Computer, initiate Protocol Omega. The screen went black, leaving the alien bridge crew staring at each other in confusion. What just happened? Wheeler demanded. Suddenly, alarms blared across the ship. The tactical officer's voice rose to a panic screech. Captain, multiple projectiles launched from Earth's surface. Engage defensive shields. Shields not responding, sir. Our systems are being overridden by some kind of, sir. I don't understand this. It appears to be a meme. And what? A cultural information packet designed to. The explanation was cut short as the ship shuddered violently. Drek looked up in horror. Sir, the projectiles aren't conventional weapons. They're boarding vessels. Dave Miller was having the time of his life. After years of being the butt of jokes in the scientific community for his paranoid theories about alien invasion protocols, he was finally vindicated. I told them, he shouted to Cole as they rushed down the corridor of the hastily revealed underground complex that had apparently appeared beneath the SETI station all along. I told everyone we needed to be prepared. Less gloating, more running, Dr. Miller. Cole replied, surprisingly composed for someone who had just discovered that aliens were real and currently attacking Earth. They burst into a massive control room that looked nothing like the outdated facility above. This place was cutting edge, staffed by dozens of personnel in sleek uniforms bearing a patch Dave had never seen before. A stylized globe with the letters UDC. General Hammond stood at the center, barking orders, launch squads Alpha through Echo. I want those bugs contained before they figure out what's happening. He noticed Dave and Cole and waved them over. Miller. Good. You're here. We're going to need that big brain of yours. General, with all due respect, what the hell is going on? Since when does SETI have a paramilitary wing? Hammond gave him a pitying look. SETI? Son, that's just the cover story. We've known about aliens for decades. The real question is why they kept thinking we're defenseless. But how? Why wasn't I informed? Need to know basis. And until 10 minutes ago, you didn't need to know. Hammond pointed to a holographic display of what appeared to be the alien ship. What I need now is for you to help us understand their technology before they regroup. Dave stared at the display in awe. This changes everything we know about. Focus, Miller. Existential crisis later. Alien tech now. Dave shook himself and nodded. Right. Yes. What do we know so far? Hammond gestured to another scientist, who brought up detailed schematics. They're insectoid, silicon-based life forms. Their ship runs on what appears to be a quantum entanglement drive. Advanced stuff, but not invincible. We've already deployed our tech disruptor squads. Tech disruptors? Special forces with one job. Getting onto alien ships and making things go boom. Captain Wheeler was rapidly losing control of both his ship and his dignity. What do you mean, humans on board? How did they breach our hull? He shrieked. Unknown, sir, replied the increasingly frantic tactical officer. They just appeared inside our cargo bay. They're carrying devices we can't identify, and our sensors are going haywire. Cathar was frantically analyzing data streams. Sir, I think I understand now why no one returns from Earth missions. These humans, they're not primitive at all. They've been staging all this time. Staging? Staging what? Their technological development. All our intelligence is based on their public information and observable infrastructure, but they have a completely separate, hidden technological base. It's centuries beyond what they show. Before Wheeler could process this alarming information, the bridge doors slid open. Several humans in sleek black armor stepped in, weapons raised. Their helmets concealed their faces, but their posture conveyed absolute confidence. One stepped forward. Captain, your quantum algorithms would take millennia to crack. Our AI took about 20 minutes, actually. Look, not to be rude, but you're the fourth invasion attempt this year, and it's getting a little tedious. At least the Borksians put up a decent fight. Wheeler's antennae drooped in shock. You defeated the Borksians? Defeated, recruited. Same difference. Some of them work in our R&D department now. Very creative with bioweapons. The bridge fell silent as the full implication sank in. Cathar was the first to recover. Sir, he said quietly to Wheeler, I believe surrender is our only viable option. Wheeler looked around at his disenchanted crew, then back at the casual confidence of the human forces. With the defeated slump of his exoskeleton, he nodded. We surrender. Commander Foster smiled. Excellent choice. General Hammond will be pleased. She tapped a communication device on her wrist. Foster to Hammond. Package secured. Bringing home some new friends. 3 days later, Dave Miller found himself in the strangest meeting of his career. Seated around an underground conference table were General Hammond, Commander Foster, several high-ranking military and scientific personnel, and, most surrealistically, Captain Wheeler and Cathar, representing the now-captured alien invasion force. So let me get this straight, Dave said, trying to wrap his head around what he was hearing. Earth has been successfully defending itself against alien invasions for decades? And the reason aliens keep trying anyway is that we're quietly projecting an image of technological backwardness. Precisely, Hammond nodded. Operation Sitting Duck. We maintain the appearance of a divided, primitive planet while secretly building our unified defense capabilities using technology we've acquired from previous attempts. But why keep it secret from your own population? Cathar asked, who seemed truly curious rather than resentful of his captivity. Hammond exchanged glances with his colleagues. Have you seen how humans react to change? The panic? The conspiracy theories? Imagine the global chaos if we announced, hey everyone, aliens are real. They're trying to conquer us, but don't worry, we've got super advanced tech we stole from them. Dave couldn't argue with that logic. So what happens now with them? He gestured towards the aliens. Same as always, Hammond replied. We offer them a choice. They can join our scientific exchange program. You mean, become research subjects? Wheeler interjected bitterly. Or, Hammond continued with emphasis, they can become diplomatic representatives to help prevent future misunderstandings. Commander Foster leaned forward. Look, Captain, your empire thinks Earth is easy pickings because we deliberately make it look that way. It's a defensive strategy that's worked quite well so far. But we're not monsters. We don't want an endless cycle of attempted invasions and captures. Cathar's compound eyes seemed to brighten with understanding. So you want us to bring back accurate intelligence about Earth's true capabilities? Bingo. Hammond said with a finger gun gesture that clearly confused the aliens. Although, bringing back might be optimistic. Your superiors would probably execute you for failure or lying. Instead, we propose you stay here as official representatives of the Exarthus Empire, comfortable accommodations, full access to our scientific exchange data, and the opportunity to establish proper diplomatic relations. Wheeler's mandibles worked silently as he processed the offer. And if we refuse? Hammond's expression hardened slightly. Then you'll be comfortable but restricted guests until we determine you're no longer a risk, which, given your lifespan, could be quite some time. Dave watched this negotiation with fascination. General, if I may, how many alien species have actually taken you up on the diplomatic option? 37 and counting, Hammond replied. Some of our most valuable allies started as would-be conquerors. The Arcturan delegation was literally halfway through vaporizing Melbourne when they realized we'd hacked their ships. Now, they run our interstellar communication network. Cathar turned to Wheeler. Captain, I believe accepting their diplomatic proposal is not only our best option for survival, but potentially beneficial for the Empire. Their technological capabilities clearly exceed our intelligence estimates. Wheeler's antennae twitched in what Dave was beginning to recognize as their equivalent of a sigh. Very well. We accept your diplomatic proposal, General Hammond, though I fail to understand why you maintain the charade of technological inferiority if it continues to invite attacks. Dave surprised himself by answering before Hammond could. It's a filtering system, isn't it, General? Any species advanced enough to see through the deception is advanced enough to be worth talking to. Hammond smiled. Got it in one, Miller. Plus, it gives us the advantage of surprise every single time. Speaking of which, he turned back to the aliens. I'd be very interested in hearing exactly how your quantum entanglement drive works. Our engineers have some theories, but a first-hand explanation would be helpful. 6 months later, David settled into his new role as scientific liaison to the alien diplomat corps with surprising ease. His office in the underground complex, now revealed to him as Terran Defense Headquarters, had a direct view into what was delightfully called Alien Alley, where representatives from various previously hostile species now worked alongside humans. Wheeler entered his office without knocking, a habit the insectoid alien had never quite grasped. Dr. Miller, we have received a transmission from the Empire, he announced, his formerly intimidating demeanor, now somehow almost comical in the context of the Earth-issue lab coat he wore. Let me guess, they're sending another ship to find out what happened to you. Precisely, a Dreadnought-class vessel, according to our intelligence. Dave exclaimed, and reached for his communication panel. I'll alert Hammond. Standard welcome package. I would recommend it. The commander is my former squadron leader. She will not be easily convinced of Earth's capabilities without a demonstration. Dave couldn't help but smile as he put through the call. You know, 6 months ago I was sitting in a rundown SETI station convinced I was wasting my life. Now, I'm helping coordinate alien diplomatic relations. Wheeler's mandibles clicked in what Dave had learned was their version of laughter. And 6 months ago, I was certain I would return to the Empire in glory with the conquered planet as my trophy. Life is, as you humans say, funny that way. General Hammond's voice came through the speaker. Miller, what's the situation? Another Exarthus ship incoming, sir. Wheeler confirms it's a dreadnought. Wonderful. Hammond replied with the weary tone of someone discussing a minor inconvenience rather than an alien warship. I'll alert the welcome committee. Foster's team has been itching for some field exercise. Anyway, after ending the call, Dave turned back to Wheeler. You know, at some point, word is going to get around that Earth isn't the easy target everyone thinks it is. Perhaps, Wheeler replied thoughtfully, but the galaxy is vast and conquerors are rarely good listeners. There will always be some ambitious captain or glory-seeking admiral who believes they will succeed where others fail. Well, job security for all of us, I guess. Dave stood and grabbed his jacket. Come on, we should get to the command center. I want to see Foster's team in action this time. As they walked through the busy corridors of the facility, Dave marveled at how quickly humans had adapted to working alongside aliens. Scientists of both species collaborated on projects. Security personnel exchanged training techniques, and in the mess hall, chefs were truly attempting to create cuisine suitable for insectoid digestive systems. You know what's really funny about aliens? Dave asked, echoing Wheeler's question from their first encounter. Wheeler's antennae twitched in curiosity. What? We spent centuries worrying that first contact with aliens would destroy our civilization, Dave said, gesturing at the diverse species now working together. Turns out, it might be the thing that finally unites it. Hammond nodded thoughtfully. Humanity united against external threats. Tale as old as time. Humanity, yeah, Dave asserted under his breath. What was that, Miller? Hammond asked. Nothing, sir. Just appreciating the irony. As the communication officer prepared to hail the incoming ships, Dave couldn't help but smile at the absurdity of it all. Earth, the planet everyone tried to conquer, and no one succeeded. The world that looked primitive but harbored advanced technology. The species that turned would-be conquerors into reluctant allies through a combination of strategic deception and unexpected diplomacy. Perhaps that was humanity's true superpower. Not the hidden technology or the unified defense strategy, but the peculiar ability to make friends out of enemies. To find common ground with the most alien of intelligences, not through overwhelming force, but through a uniquely human blend of ingenuity, adaptability, and that strange quality that even Wheeler had come to appreciate, pragmatic optimism. Incoming vessels. This is Earth Central Command. Hammond began as the new alien fleet came into communications range. Welcome to the Sol system. We've been expecting you. Because if there was one thing the galaxy was slowly learning, it was this. Attacking Earth was always a mistake. Not because humans would destroy you, but because they'd probably end up converting you to their cause, making you like them, and sending you back out into the stars as unwitting ambassadors of the strangest, most contradictory, most frustratingly effective species in the known universe, humanity.